All right, welcome everyone. I think we're going to get started shortly here. We're happy to invite you to the presentation Top Gear Early College and Career Experiences, the Race to 2025. My name is Ellen Gomez. I'm the host for today, and I'm here with my colleagues Cydnie Tate and Kendera Harris from the Tennessee Pathways Initiative and some special guests. Cydnie Tate is here to introduce the session.
Thank you, Ellen. Oh.
I can hear you.
Oh, we're just not moving forward. Oh, perfect. Sorry, there was a little bit of lag of everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. As Ellen said, I wanted to take a quick moment to show you our agenda for today. As you can see, we're really focusing in on our guest speakers. They are the boots on the ground, and they have some promising practices to share with all of you. So just please look at this and note that we are going to do a quick pause after each guest speaker for questions. We want you to be able to ask pointed questions towards that initiative, and then we will also have a Q&A at the end of the session. And again, we can't thank you enough for joining us, and we're so excited to have the guest speakers with us today, and we're really proud that we can represent just different regions throughout the state. We have a lot of great things to share with you, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to pass off to Kendera.
All right, well, just to give you all a little information about Tennessee Pathways, we fall under the Drive to 55 goal, which basically states that 55% of the population in Tennessee will have a degree or credential by the year 2025. We have 5 years left. We certainly have some work to do. I'm sure that you all are familiar with some of the programs like Tennessee Promise and Tennessee Reconnect and Sales, but Tennessee Pathways is the K-12 component of the Drive to 55, and we work to ensure that high schools are preparing students for post-secondary and the workforce. Specifically, we work with schools and school districts to ensure that more K-12 students are either graduating high school with a degree or credential or are able to seamlessly transition to post-secondary where they can eventually earn that credential. Our work is structured around 3 key elements, and you see on the screen, the first one is high quality college and career advisement. And we believe that it is certainly important to engage students at all ages in education attainment and preparing for college and career opportunities. And this can be in the form of any of the work-based learning experiences, such as having a guest speaker to come out and talk to elementary students about the day in the life of a machinist or the day in the life of a nurse, or having career fairs, or taking advantage of the College for TN platform where middle school and elementary students can take advantage of the career assessment and learn about the vast amount of careers out there in Tennessee. Second is rigorous early post-secondary and work-based learning opportunities in high school. And there's data that show that students are more likely to enroll and persist in post-secondary when they're able to take advantage of episodes. And I want to specifically highlight dual enrollment and dual credit. And Ms. Jennifer Cherry is going to have an opportunity to speak to you all about what Jackson State Community College is doing, which I think is phenomenal work. And then last but not least is that seamless vertical alignment between all entities as a result of effective partnerships between school districts, post-secondary institutions, employers, and community organizations. Everyone is coming together and collaborating with one common goal in mind, and that is student success. And I think that's how this presentation came about, because we wanted to recognize some of the many best practices that we've discovered through our Tennessee Pathways certification regarding early college and career experiences. Our hope is that you'll be able to use this information and take it back to your respective schools and school districts so that you can make an impact on your community and, most importantly, on the students. And so now I'll pass it back to Ellen, and she's going to take us through a guiding polling question. Back to you, Ellen.
Hi, all. The poll, there's a little delay here, but the poll question is about the top 3 challenges that you experience when you are delivering EPSOs. You can either enter in the poll responses to bit.ly/EPSO challenges, which I am trying to enter into the chat. Or you can just respond at this point into the chat. We're having some, there's a little lag on putting this in the chat. It's bit.ly/EPSO challenges, lowercase, and you'll see it asking you the top 3 EPSO challenges you're facing today.
And while we're having technical issues, we can go ahead and pass off back to Kenderick to introduce our guest speakers, and hopefully we'll get the bit.ly link sent into the chat box for you guys while our guest speaker from Jackson State is talking. Sorry about that. I think we've all experienced a couple of these issues this week, you know, fun virtual sessions, so.
Okay, well, please take a moment to look at our guest speakers who represent various parts of Tennessee. And first up is Ms. Jennifer Cherry, who is representing Jackson State Community College. And I'll let her go into more detail about her work. So Ms. Jennifer, please feel free to take it away.
Thanks, Kenderick. I am Jennifer Cherry. I am the Director of Curriculum and Adjunct Services at Jackson State Community College. I have been at Jackson State for over 20 years now. Dual credit was kind of passed on to me about 3 years ago, and as I go through sort of our journey with that, you'll see that we took it from a very small program to a very large and robust program. A few years ago, we really started hearing the term EPSO being tossed around quite a bit. High schools were being challenged to provide EPSOs on a large scale. And up until this point, dual enrollment was the primary opportunity for students to have an early post-secondary opportunity. But a student needed to have a qualifying GPA in order to even participate in dual enrollment. And that left many students out of the loop. Jackson State has always been a large dual enrollment school, and in fact, even right now, about 25% of our enrollment comes from dual enrollment students. The difference with dual credit, though, is that any student is eligible to attempt the credit. And for many students, this may be the first time that they think about even attending college. And earning that college credit gives them the confidence that they need. So I guess the big question is, if you'll go to the next slide for me, please. How do we go from just having 2 schools to over 20? And how did we increase the number of students participating in our dual credit program nearly 25 times? As you can see, in 15-16, we only had 2 high schools with 173 students. 18-19, we went to 21 with over 4,000 students participating. So how did we do that? Our first step was to speak with the superintendents of each of the school systems in our service area. Then we spent several months doing personal school visits to meet with principals and guidance counselors. We explained which courses we could offer and assured them that there would be no cost involved. And to be honest, many were very skeptical at first. The first year we had a few early adopters, and then by word of mouth through the principal and counselor networks, the others slowly joined in. The way our model works is our faculty chose the courses that we were going to offer via dual credit. Those are listed up there on the screen for you. We chose the finance, the computer, and the wellness course, primarily since most all high schools offer those 3 courses anyway. We additionally chose our college success course as an option because we felt that students could benefit from the experience. And additionally, that is the course that is paired with our learning support reading as the co-requisite college level class. So if a student scores below the 19 in reading on their ACT, if they have successfully completed college success as a dual credit course, then the reading requirement is then deemed satisfied. Each of our lead faculty in those areas developed a comprehensive challenge exam for each course, and a score of 70 or greater allows the student to earn the credit. Each year, we offer training to high school faculty and counselors to either get a refresher or if someone new has been hired. I provide an overview of how the dual credit process works, and then the respective faculty break out by discipline and meet with our lead faculty in those areas. At that time, our faculty review the course learning objectives and outcomes and provide the high school faculty with a copy of the exam and the answer key. All exams are given at the high schools. We do not proctor the exams at Jackson State. Our stance is that if we entrust our high school colleagues to prepare the students for graduation, then we should also entrust them to proctor an exam. We also do not charge for dual credit. Our philosophy is that if a student has earned 12 credits of dual credit, then they may be more interested in attending Jackson State after graduation, since they already have nearly a semester behind them. As an example, this works very well with our early college high partners. They complete their dual credit courses their freshman and sophomore years, and then take nearly exclusively dual enrollment their junior and senior years. And in fact, this past year, out of their senior class that had 31 students, 26 of those earned their associate degree 2 weeks prior to their high school graduation. The other 5 will complete their associate's degree this fall. So now that you sort of have an understanding about our program, let's delve into how we actually receive the data from the high schools. Our initial reporting process was a one-page dual credit application. The application asked for the student name, their address, their birth date, their high school, the name of the dual credit course. The student would have to sign and date it, as well as the high school instructor. The counselor would record the score earned, whether it met the minimum score or not. They'd have to sign and date it. We always ask for whatever score is made for a couple reasons. One, that way we know at least how many people have attempted versus how many people are potential to earn the credit. And secondly, many students remember that they took a dual credit course and they say things like, oh, I took wellness in high school and I passed it. How come you're not giving me my dual credit, Jackson State? Well, we can look up their score and say, well, yes, you actually did make a B in your high school course, but unfortunately you only made a 58 on the exam, not the 70 that's required. So after providing all this, the high schools will then also have to provide a copy of the transcript, a list of students and scores. They had to email me an Excel file of the roster. And in the beginning, we even required our deans to sign off on each application. Well, after the first semester, we learned that we needed to drop that requirement. A few of our high schools followed the instructions. Many, however, did not. So I would spend hours collating applications with transcripts that were jumbled up in packets. Many didn't include a roster, and not everybody would email me their Excel file. Several forms were missing signatures or other pertinent information. So there was a lot of back and forth trying to clean up the data. As more and more schools came on board, I was drowning, trying to keep up with the mountain of paperwork that was flooding my office. And I knew that the records office staff were pulling their hair out, trying to comb through the piles of applications each time a new student applied to Jackson State. If you remember from the previous slide, last year we had over 4,000 of those applications. So I reached out to our OIT department and asked if one of our programmers could create a secure online database that could be password protected and with access controlled by my office. And they immediately said they could. We've provided a screenshot for you of our database. Our online dual credit reporting system is very simple. I create an account for the person reporting the data at the high school, either the counselor or the instructor. They are able to go in and complete the applications for the student. We ask for the same information that we did on the paper form. The school name auto fills in, and then there's a drop-down box so they can choose which course they're going to report on. So now there's no more killing all the trees, no more chasing signatures, no more printing transcripts, no more typing up Excel rosters, no more mailing large packets, and no more digging through mountains of paper trying to find an application. And most importantly, there's no more lag time while we wait for everything to be hand processed. We can run reports by term so that we can see total numbers for a particular semester, or we can drill down and do a search and run a report for a specific student. So that's kind of the overview of our dual credit system. I'm sure there's going to be a few questions. So if anyone has any of those, I'd be happy to answer them if I can.
Reminder, please enter questions into the chat if you have some for Jennifer Cherry.
I see someone talks about CLEP tests in the chat. In fact, that's what a lot of our early college high is a great example of how they sort of blend several EXOs. They do the dual credit. Several of their students take the CLEP exams. And then, of course, they're doing the dual enrollment with us. And that's how, even with some of the more intensive transfer pathways or even some of the career programs, we're able to get those students graduated even before they complete their high school graduation.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Jennifer, do you see any other questions in the chat?
I'm not seeing any. I'm sure sometimes there's
A lag.
a
That's-
lag or I may think of something later.
Yeah, we'll have time at the end for questions as well. All right, thank you very much, Jennifer.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Our next presenter is from Columbia State Community College. Professor Mostashir is working closely with Fairview High School and Williamson County Schools in their mechatronics program. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor Mostashir. Let me make sure. It's not unmuting. Hold on.
Okay. Are we okay now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. I guess maybe I should start. My name is Mehran Mostaji with Columbia State Community College, and I have been with Columbia State with about 5 years, and I'm the program director for the engineering systems technology. The program we started was some collaboration between Columbia State and Williamson County Schools that we wanted to develop a curriculum for the mechatronics program that included work-based learning. The site that we basically where Williamson County decided was the Fairview High School. And what we did was we through grants and financing through, I guess, Williamson County and other grants like Perkins and things like that, we were able to purchase trainers and put them in the high school and in this high school, and then train the students. And then through that, for work-based learning at the high school, we also work with some companies in order for the students to be able to go and get their work experience over there. So basically, by the time the program started running, we had students that were able to go and work and gain, of course, work experience, such as not only work experience, but also be able to do soft skills. And on top of that, they were getting paid. So, I mean, at least for now, I'm not sure for how long more they can do that, but at least right now they're getting paid. And we manage this program, and we are actually having, we also from time to time work with the workforce development agency in our area to help us, because some of these students are under 18, and some companies don't want to take the chance of hiring somebody who is under 18, but the local workforce development agencies are able to help us with that. Next screen, please. And the program, the way it starts is that the students really start getting into the program from their 8th grade. When they're in 8th grade, they start getting some sort of a principle of manufacturing or some sort of that programs. And then during their sophomore year, when the same as Jackson said, they're going to get into the dual credit program courses that they've got. and they have to, they take these dual credit courses, and once they finish that, and those dual credit courses are actually taught by the teachers at the high school, then they go to the dual enrollment courses, which are taught by us, by the Columbia State Community College. They spend their junior and senior years taking those courses. During the junior year, they actually have 1 year of experience of learning the material behind them, and they're, as a result, they are ready to go to work. And that's why many of them choose to go to work in the summer between their junior and senior year. So that's basically how they do that. And the internship course that they take is usually requires about 180 hours of work experience, and that's what they do that. And the goal for us is for them to put into practice what they have learned, and of course learn other things that the company requires them to do depending on what it is that they need. So when we started the program, we kind of rather new in this one, even though it's like 4 or 5 years into it, but the program is maturing little by little. We started with 4, the number of students that went into the work-based learning were like 4 at the beginning, then it went to 7 last year, and this year we have had about 21 students that are registering. Now, some students will be able to, if they're not able to finish their work experience during the summertime, they do have the time for almost a whole year in order to finish that, the work that is required for them to graduate. Next page, please. That's basically it. If there is any questions that I may be answering for you, this is very quick form of it. One thing I would like to also add is that our program that we have in here at the high school in here, at the Fairview, mimics the program right here at Columbia State, which means that they are studying exactly the same course materials that they are, the students here at Columbia State doing it. And the same as the Jackson State, our students are able to get their AS degree or even their certificate before they get their high school diploma. Not before, they're supposed to graduate, and then almost right immediately they get their certificate, their AS degree or certificate from Columbia State. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I'm looking in the chat, checking for questions. Professor, can you talk about how this program is impacted by the coronavirus changes?
Well, of course, this semester happened that the schools closed, and as a result, many of the students, we had to do the work from home. We were able to go through some simulators so that they were able to do some of those, and then, but most of them were able to do half a semester to the midterm. So that was a sort of a gauge for us to see how far they have advanced and what they know. So we could have judged them based on that. But one of the courses, like for those students that were about to graduate, what we did was we issued incomplete grades for them. And these students were very good in order to come in, and they actually came over the summer to the site, and we had to just go by the school set a certain processes and rules, like first of all, everything was by appointment, and they always have to wear masks, and of course there were certain questions they had to answer, all those other stuff before they come in, and we measured the temperature when they came in. We did all those processes that we're supposed to go through, and then the students would come in, and those that had the incomplete grades, in order for them to graduate, because some of the courses we could not we needed them to really do the hands-on or to finish, they were able to come and do their hands-on work finished. However, during the semester, they did finish all their online work and all their exams. So that's how we were able to, it impacted us from that way, but we were able to manage it this way for now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, we are going to save more questions for the end of the presentation. And next we're going to hear from Corey Mashburn from Roane County.
Thank you, Ella. I appreciate you all having me today. It's been an exciting week, so I've heard a lot of great things, sat in a lot of great sessions this week, and And I'm just really excited just to be able to hear maybe some new things we can bring back and use in our county. Again, my name is Corey Mashburn. I am the CTE career counselor for Roane County Schools. I have been in this position now. This is getting ready to begin my 3rd year. Just a little of my background. I was a former high school counselor. I was a high school counselor for just, I'd say, about, I think total 17 years, 14 years, I'm sorry, I'm moving on now. And 14 years as a counselor, and then moved into this position a couple of years ago. Our CT director, Lance Duff, and our assistant director of schools attended the kickoff for the Tennessee Pathways a couple of summers ago. Many of you probably were there for that, and really came away from that just seeing the need for our district for having these pathways in place in our district. And I think one of the things they thought, what they saw that they needed for this was to possibly hire this position or create this position, a CTE counselor, so we could really look at strengthening what we needed to strengthen in those 3 areas of the pathways that Derek talked about earlier, with the early college experiences, advisement, and alignment, and strengthening our partnerships. So I was excited to move into something, but with this being a new position, I really didn't know what to do with myself, to be honest, to start off. So we really need to get creative and see what we could do to strengthen our advisement across the spectrum of K-12 in our district. So, the first thing I did was just sit down with all of our counselors, K through 12, because we want to get down to elementary and middle, and because we already have things in place with high school, but we really saw that we needed to hit our earlier grades as well, and see what we could do there. And we have great counselors in our county. We're blessed with just all of them are great to work with. I've been colleagues with them for years. And we really just kind of brainstormed what we could do and what I could do to assist them and strengthening our programs just across the board. It was really new for me because I've been a high school counselor for so many years, and to be able to step back into an elementary classroom, middle school, eye-opening, to say the least. And but it was really great to just to do things with those kids at the younger grade levels and work on our program. So if I go to the next slide, I just want to kind of just highlight just a few things that I helped do. It wasn't just me. This was just with our partnerships with our counselors. We love our partnerships, of course, with Ed South, TSAC, THEC. Those are just some examples of our community. Our community and businesses helped us out a lot. Our chamber helped us out so much. So just when doing these, so the partnerships were very, very important. We are also blessed in our county to have 2 institutions of higher learning. We have Roane State Community College and the Tennessee College for Applied Technology at Harriman. Both of those are in our county. And they're in our backyard. And they have been wonderful partnerships to be able to help us with dual enrollment and then getting the word out to our high school, middle, and elementary, as well as trying to get more awareness out for career opportunities for when they leave high school. So just some things you can see here, some things that I helped do. We had done career assessments, but we throughout, I think, middle and high, but they were really sporadic, and some were doing them, some weren't. So we really stepped up there with career assessments. We worked with, brought in our partner from Ed South and TSAC we went school to school, especially with the middle school, hit middle school really hard with career assessments. And just really opened up a lot of discussion with them, and also at high school. And hopefully we'll follow these through, take them again as they're in high school, just to see how their skills have changed, if maybe their interests have changed, and then also help them in working toward resume writing and eventually applying for a job or college applications. Our career fairs we do for our middle and high school. We have a wonderful partnership with our Chamber of Commerce, and our chamber has a representative there that helps us reach out to all of our local businesses and companies that want to participate in our career fairs. And we have a huge career fair. It is awesome just to go to this thing. I've been to career fairs, but I'm a little biased with ours. I love how ours work, and just how many show up and how they engage with our students. It's a beautiful thing to see. And the kids all come away from that with great experiences as well. We partner with the same businesses and also our colleges to do it. Love doing going over to one of our elementary schools and doing a 5th grade college and career day, where they set up the football field out there, and they have canopies up, and it's almost just like a tailgate scene out there with all the kids, and they bring their lunches out there and play cornhole and things like that. But we go tent to tent and ask them, college questions, and they've been educated throughout the week with the teachers there. And I could ask a 5th grader to tell me what financial aid is, and he'll explain what financial aid is better than I can. And it's awesome that our elementary kids are getting those terminologies early, and so they know what we're talking about, and as we continue them on through school and eventually on toward that step of moving on after high school. Just a few things. College App Week. A lot of y'all do these things. Coordinating campus visits. We get our elementary kid, our 5th graders, on our TCAT and on state campus. Same with our middle and high. So they're in those buildings and they're seeing those careers and majors that they can do. I personally do high school 101 classes with 8th grade. I go around to all of our middle schools and sit in with our 8th grade and do high school 101, so they understand what high school is all about. And I bring 2 freshmen with me from the high schools, and they talk about their experiences. They get more from them than they do me. So we do some great things there with high school 101. We do a lot of I'm in charge of working with 5th and 8th grade transition. We bring in guest speakers to speak college and career just across the spectrum. And then another task I have that I get to do is I get to work with our graduation assistance program. These are our students, and a lot of you do this in different ways in your districts, but we have our students that are short of credits and not going to graduate on time. And that program just happens to be in my building. So I can go upstairs and meet with those students, so they have a liaison to the next step, and I try to get them into either an apprenticeship or getting them into dual enrollment with TCAT or on to the next step with the junior college and get their credits complete on time, so they can move on as well. So they're not left out and they're not forgotten. So I talked about our high schools. Our high schools, we serve about 2,000 students roughly. We have 5 high schools that we have across our district, and all basically small high schools. So that's the high school group that we're working with there. But we're as I spoke earlier, I've just showed you this slide here. We're showing our early career exploration. We're really honing in on this with using these programs, and a lot of you use some of these programs that you see on the screen here with Virtual Job Shadow or Adminum, for example, or those are great programs that we use as far as career exploration. Of course, the Cooter program that's been around for so long, it's still a great program, and we love to use it with our students, and our students really respond to those. So I just want to show you one thing with the pathways. We're going back to the pathways. My job was to really work with our director and see what we could do to get these pathway programs applied for, and we were really excited that we saw that we had the partnerships in place. We had the college advisement in place. We had all the pieces in place to apply for 18 programs across our five high schools. And so, we had the EPSOs that were there. We have increased our EPSOs. You can see on this graph here just how our EPSOs offered at our high schools have increased at the last since 2016-17 school year. We've been able to increase those and to offer those. So we had, like I said, we had the opportunity to apply for 18. We were awarded 15 this last year. We're really excited about that. To be able to achieve 15 pathways, and that was 3 at each high school, at all 5 high schools. So it was great that we were able to achieve that. We have a lot more. We have several more we're going to apply for now. We have more programs coming in place. We've added an HVAC program this year at one of our high schools. And then another huge one that we've added this year is our mechatronics program, with partnering with Rome State Community College with dual enrollment, where our students could go. We call it middle college, where they can go 11th, 12th grade year and achieve associate science degree at Rome State as well. So we're excited about that. We just see a lot of things, trending in the right direction. And I'm not going to say it's all because of me. Our director is fantastic, but we have a great group of teachers. It's just a great team to be around. I'm just happy to be a part of it. There's some few other statistics. I've got just a few minutes that I get to throw at you about with our TCAT. We were able to increase our TCAT signings. We went from 33 TCAT signings in 2018 to 57 in 2019. And I also, as part of what I do, I get to write grants with our director and with the Perkins Reserve. Just a few years ago, we didn't receive any Perkins Reserve, and year before last we received a little over $52,000. Last year we received $96,000 in those Perkins Reserve grants. So we're really been able to use those monies for great things to strengthen our programs, and very excited about that. And we've increased our industry certifications from 36 in 2016 to 121 in the 18-19 school year. So a lot of great things going on. I know I've gone really fast. I know I have a short amount of time and I could talk about more, but I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I hope that kind of comes across, and I hope that I've been able to help our director and our school district as well as strengthen our CTE programs. We bleed CTE. I'm passionate about CTE. I always have been ever since I was a high school counselor. Just love to see it going on. I love to see what's going on with CTE today, and I love the direction it's going, and just excited to be a part of it. And I thank you all so much for having me. And hey, if you got any other questions, anytime, feel free to contact me. You see my email there. I'd love to hear from you, and we would get back with you anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Corey. We have another shout out from a career counselor, a CTE career counselor in Montgomery County. We love that role. We love that you can be in that role for an entire district from Brenda Scarborough. But we're waiting for questions. While we're waiting for some more questions in the chat, I'll tell you that the top 3 episode challenges that were shared in the survey at the beginning were transportation, funding, and scheduling of classes and opportunities. If Corey, you want to take that first about how you've addressed some of those challenges, and then maybe we can open it up to some of the other guests.
I apologize. The question cut out on me a little bit. Could you repeat it?
The top 3 challenges that from the poll at the beginning, the Bitly poll, ended up being really number 1, funding for early post-secondary opportunities. Number 2, transportation, getting students to those opportunities where they need to go. And 3, scheduling. These students are so busy. How do you schedule in the class time and all the enrichment activities that you're also scheduling?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to see these questions.
It's actually not a question. I'm just following up on the top 3 challenges that were listed in the poll at the beginning.
As you mentioned scheduling, I think, scheduling has also, I mean, as a counselor, I used to do a lot of scheduling, that was always a huge challenge for us to be able to get, students in the right one in the right year. Some of them would have to wait a year to take a prop. So, I mean, I wish I could say, we have a solution to that, but, I don't. Every district, they do scheduling differently. And, we are changing our district. We're changing to block scheduling in our district this year. And we're hoping that, maybe that might help us up with opening up some more room in our schedules for our students to take what they want and not have, have to miss out on something that they really like to take.
Okay. Do any other guests have feedback on funding, scheduling, or?
One of the things that was done at Fairview was they used their lunch hour, which means like the students would be able to spend, I mean, they're not going to go to eat lunch, but they spend like about 20 minutes. The class was extended by 20 minutes, and then they would go to lunch, and then the other class that's supposed to come in, they would come in about 20 minutes early. So that actually gave more time, because some of these courses, they do need to be at the trainer, and it requires more than just little time that they have in order to, to spend time on the trainer. So this actually helped. That was one of the clever things that actually Mr. Sizemore had done with the counselors over at the Fairview High School.
I was just going to add into that with the funding and the transportation issue. That was really why we chose to do our dual credit for free. We know that we service over 30 high schools in our 14 county service area, and we're very rural, and we know that funding is always a challenge in education at all levels. So we didn't want to have that be another barrier for students. So we decided that even though it's a lot of personnel hours on our end processing it, that we would still keep that dual credit completely free of charge to our schools and to our students. And it's another reason why we chose for them to house the challenge exams at the high schools. That way we didn't have to worry about students trying to navigate to Jackson State, which again would have caused a transportation issue, a scheduling issue, all the things we're talking about. The kids are already at those high schools anyway, so just keeping them there through the entire dual credit process, we felt was very important.
Okay, great. I don't see any other questions in the chat. There's a suggestion from Vernon Chandler to look to Perkins for some funding help. Cydnie, I think we can move on to the next slide, which is a solutions check. If people want to fill out the next bit.ly, which is bit.ly solutions check, which is in the chat, we can see how we did in terms of helping you out with some of the solutions to those challenges. Bit.ly solutions check. Give you a second to complete that.
Ellen, are we getting responses for our solutions?
We are, but it's a little laggy. We could probably keep going until we get a few more. Thanks.
I just want to be respectful of time. I feel like I've had to like hop and jump straight into the next session, so I want to make sure
we're good.
Okay. Well, that concludes our session, everyone, and we just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for, listening to our partners. We thought they brought some really great ideas to the table, and please remember you can always reach out to them, reach out to us. It looks like we have
from Sean Tester. Sean, I'm going to allow you to talk. Sorry. There we go.
What was the keyword?
Oh, I'm about to put it up. You caught me. So, I was just thanking everyone. Please, we downloaded this presentation into the files so you can receive or get everyone's contact information, look back at the different projects that they've been working on, initiatives, and then the keyword is Ohio. So again, thank you everyone so much for your time today, and we've hit 3:15, so I think we are done. Don't forget the keyword, put cute pictures in there, so hopefully you'll remember. So, and thank you especially to our guest speakers. We couldn't have done this without you.
Thank you, Cydnie.